Welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. So today we're going to be looking at some financial basics to help you get a step closer to getting into your first home. The top two reasons I hear why people don't think they can get into their first property is A, because they can't afford that down payment, they can't save it up, and B, because they don't think their credit score is good enough to qualify. So I'll give you some tips today to help you get one step closer. So first thing I want to look at and tell you guys, there are two kinds of debt. There's good debt and bad debt. So good debt are debts that help make you money. They put money back in your pocket, similar to having a cash flowing property. You have debt on that property, but it pays you every month. Bad debts are things like consumer debt, things that don't pay you back and that you are actually paying out monthly out of your income to pay off. And interest is on there too, so that's fun. So those are the two types of debt. So looking at some financial basics, the number one thing you want to know is awareness. If you don't know where your money is going, if you're not telling your money where to go, then it's going to go places and you won't know until it's already gone. And that's how a lot of people get into tricky situation where they want to buy a house, but they don't have that down payment saved. So number one thing you can do is start budgeting. So you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out and where your money is being allocated. So there are two types of expenses that you want to be tracking. Your fixed, the items that are going to stay the same month by month, like your rent, your gas, internet, phone bill. Most people's phone bills stay the same. And then you have your expenses. So those are the things that change month to month, like dining, groceries, savings, if you're going traveling, things like that. They vary depending on how much you use them or spend on them. So you want to be tracking these two things. Typically, your fixed expenses are going to stay the same. You don't have too much control, although you could make some changes. The variable expenses are the ones that you can really take control of and change to divert more of your income towards saving instead of those expenses. There are lots of different ways to start budgeting. And the best way, honestly, I found is to use a software called Mint. It's run by Quickbooks. And essentially you plug in all of your bank cards and credit cards and even connect your student loans so that you can see where all of your money is going. So all of the ins, all of the outs, and then it's really easy to get a visual to see exactly where your money is going. It categorizes it so you can see how much you are spending on those fixed and variable expenses. You can even set budgets for you so that on your phone you can get notifications as to if you're getting close to your budget, if you still have money left, if you've gone over your budget for different categories like gas, groceries, movies, restaurants, things like that. So Mint has been super helpful for me for tracking everything, and I think it'd be probably very helpful for you. If you don't like hooking up your bank accounts to apps and software, things like that, there's always getting back to the basics where you can log into your banks, look at all your statements, and break out the spreadsheets and start tracking things. So that's an old school way to at least build that awareness and see where your money's going so you can start making more choices and decisions about where your money is going. Okay, so that covers budgeting, because the biggest thing is if you don't know where your money's going, it's going to find places to go, and then you're going to be looking back wondering what happened. And the other thing is the latte factor. You know, whether it's going to Timmy's and spending that $1.80 on a coffee or going to Starbucks and spending that $5+ on a coffee. You want to look for those things that you're doing repetitively that are small but are adding up to larger amounts a year or multiple years. So what are you spending a little bit of money on all the time that you could reduce or eliminate by making a small change that would help you put so much more money in your pocket? The other piece is looking at your debts and having the awareness of those payments you're making. So it's a little box on your statements, if you even look at your statements, that'll tell you if you continue to make the minimum payment, it could take you 15 to 20 years or more to pay off a small debt. So looking at credit cards where your interest rates are really high and your minimum payments are quite low. So if you're able to divert different amounts of money towards those credit cards and other debts, you can pay them off a lot faster than their prescribed minimum payment. So just essentially, biggest point here is to build awareness of everything that's happening in your financial situation. It doesn't have to be frustrating or complicated. It's just a matter of looking at everything and seeing what's happening. Next, what we're going to look at is your credit. There are several parts to your credit that build your credit score. And there's lots of different ways to check your credit. One tool that I use is Credit Karma. So I have an app on my phone. I can check it anytime, and it does a soft check. There's a soft check and a hard check. Hard checks will show up on your credit report, and soft checks will not. But here are the different things that your credit is built on, your credit score. So first and most important piece is your payment history. Are you making late payments? Do you have any past due accounts or collections? So you might not think like making a late payment on your phone bill is going to affect you, but this makes up 35% of your score. So 315 points. So you really want to make sure that you have anything set up to help you make your payments on time, whether that's having money come out of your accounts automated or just having reminders in your calendar to make those credit payments. The next largest piece of your credit score is your amounts owed. So what we want to look at here is if you had $2,000 of credit available, say on a credit card, and you were using $1,900, you're at a very high utilization rate. You only have this much available. So that's going to count against your score, and this makes up for 270 points. If you had a $2,000 credit card and you had only $100 owing on it, you have a much lower utilization rate. There's a lot more available. So that would be looked at positively. And that accounts for 30% of your score, so 270 points. The next one is your length of credit history. So the time since the accounts have opened. So if you opened an account and then you closed it, and then you open a new account, they wouldn't be counting that closed one. They would only be counting the ones that are currently open. So that's where having a credit card or whatever that is, your phone line open for longer is beneficial to your credit score. And that accounts for 15%. So you're looking at 135 points. Then we're looking at new credit. So number of recent inquiries, number of recently opened accounts. So this is where I get a lot of questions from people who are shopping for new credit. So if they're looking for mortgage rates. So a lot of people say, are they going to run my credit? Is that going to ding my score? And the answer is yes. It depends on what you're doing. So if you're shopping around for different mortgage rates, they'll see that you're looking for one type of credit and you won't get dinged as bad. You won't have as many points lost. But if you were looking for new credit cards, new car loans, new mortgages, and all of that, just looking for money, they'll be able to see what types of credit you're looking for, and you will get more dings on those. So this will make up 10% of your score, which is equal to 90 points. And the last one is the types of credit. So different variations of types. So whether it's credit card debt, mortgages, lines of credit, student loans, or other loans, and things like that. So that makes up for 10% and 90 points. So the absolute maximum you could get is 900 points, and that would be considered a top-notch, excellent score. These are the different types of credit, and that's how you can kind of gauge what's most important to be doing and how you can kind of increase your credit score. The other things that they want to look at is the 2x2x2 rule. So this is a little rule of thumb that you can use. So you want to have credit for at least 2 years, a minimum of 2 different types, whether it's 2 credit cards, a credit card, and a loan. You want to have it for a minimum of $2,000. Okay, so these 3 things together will help you start building your credit score. So number one thing, remember, is your payment history. So make sure you're making those payments on time and you can really level up your credit. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope this was helpful and I hope you got some takeaways. Feel free to leave a comment about what you found most helpful and what you're planning to do next to help get yourself closer to saving and building your credit score. And if you have any questions, let me know. Always happy to answer. So if you found value in today's video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and be sure to hop over to Instagram at Miranda Drexler, and I'd be happy to chat with you, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.